Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MT Squared, Minerva's 2-minute tactics for your procurement. Where this week I'm delighted to say that the sun is shining. I definitely think that spring is on its way, and we've obviously had lots of good news with regard to the roadmap this week. So fingers crossed we'll be getting back to something like normality later on this year, which is wonderful news. So today's tactic is around a clarification question that I've received from a bidder this week. And I think what it's demonstrated to me is the huge importance that you need to place on the detail in your tender documents. Because the bidder has inquired as to what the definition of the word organisation is within the tender. They are a department within a very large organisation, and in their view, they should be viewed as an organisation in themselves. So their department happens to be catering, is part of a much larger organisation that's got multiple other departments within it. And their view is that the organisation should be their department. The reality is that the organisation is, as the name suggests, the whole organisation. You can't actually stipulate that it's a department within an organisation. So when they're asking or answering the questions in the tender, they need to consider the whole organisation when they're giving their responses and not just what's happening in their department. Now, there's clearly a reason why they're asking this. I think it's probably around some of the questions around health and safety and prosecutions. And it may be the case that their department doesn't have any kind of prosecution or improvement notice for health and safety, but they're aware that within their organisation as a whole, they do. And therefore, they don't really want to admit that in the tender process because it may well reduce their score. So I think what it demonstrates is it's very important for you to have a clear understanding of all elements of your tender documentation and really consider the words that you use, because bidders will look at them very carefully and in some respects will try to manipulate things to their own benefit. So that's my tactic for this week. Think very carefully about the words that you use in your documentation. Make sure you've got an understanding of the definitions, and make sure that you don't, as a result of writing something, open yourself up to some kind of challenge from a bidder where the definition of something may not be clear or may not be what you intended. So that's my tactic for this week. Until next time, soldier on.